What's up, NFL fans? The Miami Dolphins are on the brink of what some are calling a slow-motion train wreck. I know, it sounds dramatic, but it's causing a massive stir in the football world, and we need to dive into why. Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk has thrown a bombshell that's shaking up the fan base. The posts on X, formerly Twitter, are full of fiery takes, with fans blasting the team's management, coaches, and even the players. So, what's going wrong in Miami? Is it just all hype, or are the Dolphins really heading into disaster mode? Stick around and let's break it all down because this story is getting spicy and wild. Let's start with what made Mike Florio label the Dolphins as a slow-motion train wreck. It's not just one thing, it's a combination of issues that have been building up over time. Florio pointed out that Miami's performance has been inconsistent with questionable roster moves and a front office that feels like it's stuck in neutral. The Dolphins entered the 2024 season with high playoff hopes, but things aren't going according to plan. Losses are stacking up, and the offense, once explosive under Tua Tagovailoa, is struggling to find its rhythm. Fans on X are calling out the lack of urgency from the team, and it's hard to argue when you look at the numbers. Miami's offense is ranking near the bottom in points per game, and their defense, which used to be their strength, is giving up big plays. Injuries have played a role, sure, but with players like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, you'd expect more from this squad. Is it the coaches, the players, or is management to blame? Honestly, it's probably a mix of all three. When we start talking about the coaching and management, it gets even more heated. Head coach Mike McDaniel was hailed as an offensive genius, and for good reason. His creativity made the Dolphins' offense exciting last season. But lately, fans have started to question whether he's become too predictable. On X, the chatter is non-stop, with some saying McDaniel is more focused on being quirky than actually winning football games. And then there's GM Chris Grier, who's been at the helm since 2016. His moves have been a mixed bag. Sure, he pulled off the massive trade for Tyreek Hill, but some of the smaller moves, like neglecting to improve the offensive line, are now hurting the team. Florio hinted that the Dolphins' front office isn't planning for the long-term future, and that's concerning. Just look at Tua Tagovailoa's big contract extension. It's a gamble. If Tua can't stay healthy or elevate his game, that contract could become a huge burden. Meanwhile, key veterans on the team are getting older, and the draft picks haven't exactly panned out the way they hoped. It feels like this is a team built for highlights, but not for championships. Now, let's get into the players and the team chemistry, because this is where things get real messy. Tua Tagovailoa is, of course, the focal point. He's got all the tools, a strong arm, football smarts, and the ability to make plays, but injuries and inconsistency are taking a toll on his performance. Fans on X are split, some are ready to move on, calling him overrated, while others feel he's stuck behind a bad offensive line and a non-existent running game. Tyreek Hill is still one of the best in the league, but even he can't do it all on his own. The running game? There's really no running game to speak of. Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane have the talent, but they're not getting enough touches, which puts more pressure on the passing game. On the defensive side, losing players like Christian Wilkins has hurt, and the secondary is getting torched week after week. The most concerning issue might be the team chemistry, or the lack of it. There are rumors circulating that the Dolphins' locker room isn't as tight as it should be, and that's a huge problem when you're losing. In a situation like this, small issues in the locker room can quickly turn into major problems on the field. Florio's train wreck analogy isn't just a one-time disaster. It's a slow burn of missed opportunities and bad decisions stacking up. So where do the Dolphins go from here? Can they turn this around, or is this the beginning of a full-blown collapse? The good news is that the season is still young. It's only April 2025, and Miami's fate isn't sealed just yet. The team has talent, and with a few smart moves, they could change the narrative. They need to start by fixing the offensive line, being more creative with play calling, and maybe even making some changes to the coaching staff. A big win or two could swing the momentum in their favor. But here's the problem. The AFC is stacked with powerhouse teams like the Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals, and Miami has little room for error. Fans on X are divided. Some want the team to rebuild, others think it's time for McDaniel to go. Florio's take is clear. The Dolphins need to act fast, or the slow-motion train wreck will soon be a full-speed crash. What do you think? Should Miami blow everything up and start fresh, or should they stay the course and hope things turn around? The Dolphins' struggles are far from just a short-term slump. They've been building for a while now. From the outside looking in, it's easy to wonder if the Dolphins have lost their way. One of the most frustrating things for fans is the lack of consistency from the team. The flashes of brilliance are there, but they seem to come and go in bursts. It's almost as if Miami can't string together solid performances week in and week out. When you've got star players like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Tua Tagovailoa, it's hard to accept that the team isn't performing at a higher level. But when you dive deeper into the issues, you see that there's a lack of cohesion both offensively and defensively. The problems in Miami aren't just tactical. They seem to run through the very core of the team. It's also worth considering the huge expectations placed on Tua Tagovailoa. After a promising 2023 season, many believed he was ready to take the next step in his development. But instead, it feels like Tua is fighting an uphill battle. Between the constant chatter about his health and the mounting pressure to lead the team to success, Tua seems like he's under a microscope. His inconsistency has fans questioning if he can truly be the quarterback of the future for the Dolphins. Sure, he has the talent and the tools, but does he have the mental and physical durability to withstand the demands of the NFL? The Dolphins' future may rest on whether Tua can bounce back and prove his doubters wrong. When you look at the rest of the roster, you can't help but wonder if the Dolphins have missed some opportunities to build a complete, balanced team. For a while, it seemed like Miami was putting together a roster full of playmakers, but as the season unfolds, it's becoming clear that they've neglected some critical areas. The offensive line has been a consistent issue, and without solid protection for Tua, the offense is always going to be out of sync. Meanwhile, the lack of a reliable running game has made it harder for the Dolphins to sustain drives. In today's NFL, you can't rely solely on the passing game to win games, and Miami is finding that out the hard way. The defense has been another letdown. The Dolphins' defense was once their calling card, but this season it's been exposed as vulnerable. Losing key players like Christian Wilkins hurt their ability to stop the run, and their secondary hasn't been able to keep up with high-powered offenses. The defense's inability to make key stops has put even more pressure on the offense to perform, and that's a recipe for disaster. If the Dolphins are going to turn things around, they need to get back to basics on defense and start limiting big plays. Without that, Miami is always going to be in catch-up mode. Finally, it's clear that there's a sense of urgency around the Dolphins' situation. The AFC is filled with powerhouse teams, and Miami can't afford to waste any more time. They need to make changes fast, whether it's in the form of a shakeup in coaching, a new approach to player development, or a complete roster overhaul. While it's not too late for the Dolphins to salvage their season, every week that passes without improvement is a missed opportunity. Fans have been waiting for the Dolphins to make a real run at a championship for years, but right now, it feels like they're on the verge of losing everything they've worked for. Miami has the talent. It's just a matter of putting it all together before the window closes. The next few weeks could define the Dolphins' season and their future. That's it for today's breakdown of the Dolphins' slow-motion train wreck. From coaching issues to roster problems, Miami's got a lot of work to do if they want to salvage this season. Big shout out to Mike Florio and Pro Football Talk for getting this conversation started, and to the passionate fans who aren't holding back. If you're as fired up as I am, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more NFL insights. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are the Dolphins done for, or can they turn it around?